This is a 1975 Honda Goldwing, the first year of the legendary platform.
It only has 27,000 miles, and I'm convinced it has much more to give. That's why, over the course of the last 15 months, I've been slowly restoring it and bringing it back to life. I'll take that.
But there's a problem.
It technically runs now, but all 4 carbs seem to have a different opinion about that. Oh, that's not good.
These are just some of the things I need to fix before we embark
on a huge road trip with this thing. Considering the symptoms, I bought 3 gadgets to help me diagnose and fine-tune these carburetors. The first item will help me adjust fuel levels within stock range. The second one will help solve the unmetered air making its way into the carburetors. And lastly, the third one will help in correcting the flow of metered air coming in through the carburetors. And stick around to the end because I'm unboxing something very special I have in store for the next video. Let's break down the issues I found with the fuel. If you look closely, you can see fuel spitting out into the intake from carburetor 4. You can make something like these yourself, but this eBay user sells them and the replacement caps. But we'll get into that later. Since I've adjusted the floats multiple times, maybe I'm just more of a visual learner. Hooking everything up on the bench, you can see where my last adjustment left me. This side is too high, and this side is a little too low. Let's readjust them.
That one came out perfect. That's where it needs to be. This one I need to go back in again because I adjusted it too much. And this side turned out pretty good too. So I really just need to go back into that one, and I think we'll be in business. Third time in here, too much now, all the way to the top. Okay, that's the 4th time I had to take this apart. Got it pretty dead on there, both sides over here. These sides are a little lower, but not by much. Hopefully that will do a lot better for me, and we'll throw it in and see if it's any better.
The second thing we need to address are these caps that are undoubtedly sucking in air. The plastics are just old and brittle and have developed tiny cracks over the last 50 years and need to be resealed. The caps are easy enough to remove. I even did this on my apartment floor. A good screwdriver and a pick is really all you need. The kit comes with detailed instructions. Once you get to this point, you'll need some JB plastic bonder, and it's easy as just pressing them in. I used a vise, but anything similar will work. It even comes with a little tool to help press them in, and optional nylon washers to help prevent metal-on-metal contact within the slide. When trying to sync the carburetors previously, I discovered the adjuster that matches the separate carburetor banks was stripped. Luckily, I found one on eBay. With that taken care of, we can move on to the third gadget, a carburetor synchronizer. It's imperative that each of the throttles opens at the same time, and this is how you can easily adjust this. I won't go into detail, but each carburetor has a separate adjustment so you can match it with the others. Previously, I was trying to use these vacuum gauges I had found in the shed, but one of the gauges was broken and it left a lot of guessing.
So with all the trivial things taken care of, let's start it up and see if there's any difference from before. Choke's off. It sounds pretty close, but check this out. Way off. And, we'll have to wait till it warms up to get an accurate reading here. But we can already see all these are way off center here. Well, I guess we got to fix the valve cover gaskets first. Luckily, I did order some for these new ones. They just weren't here when we installed them for the video. So just went through both of them, both sides. We got it more even, but I'm gonna do it again. I think I'm pretty happy with that. This might be a little too high, but you let me know. Would you let your Goldwing idle at this speed, or should I bring it down a little bit? Another issue I'm having is the bike won't start warm unless I give it some throttle. That could be a couple things. For now, I think I'm just going to adjust the idle mixture and see if we can get it a little bit more rich and see if that will help start the bike without having to crank the throttle. Here's an example of it starting warm. I'm going to give it no throttle. Okay, that was actually better than it has been doing. So, with some throttle. So let's adjust those mixture screws and see if we can get it a little bit more rich.
Even with all the fiddling I did, I couldn't get it to start any differently. So chasing some sort of accomplishment, I took it out to see if there was any changes in drivability.
First fill up at the gas station.
I'd like to tell you that all the work I did fixed all the problems I was having. But the reality is, while it does drive better, the bike is still popping and there's a dead zone between 3,000 and 5,000 RPM where it just doesn't want to go. But once it hits that 5,000, it's a rocket. And that's a huge clue into what's going on within these carburetors.
While I didn't figure it out in this video, I will leave you with what I promised you. And that's this.
Okay, so you may be thinking, it's just a radiator. And you'd be right, but it's also an aluminum radiator. If you know anything about the GL1000s, you know that no one makes an aluminum radiator for the GL1000. And this is in fact for the GL1100. So in complete Sean fashion, I'll be diving into another huge can of worms that involves aluminum welding and reclocking the fill tube before even finishing the carburetors. Okay, see you then.